Now we're recording.
I'll call the meeting the Morrow County Clean Water Consortium to order. And our first item of business would be the minutes for March 10th. Has everybody had a chance to review those minutes?
Sure. I could offer up a clarification on the other items in the minutes.
Okay.
Under other business, where I spoke about the audit requirements, not that captured completely accurately. So just to clarify, once expenditures reach $250,000, so from $250,000 to $1 million of expenditures, it is a AUP, which is agreed upon procedures, which is a modified audit. It needs to be completed annually, and that has to be done by an independent audit firm. Over $1 million is where the full financial audit is required. Under $250,000, we're allowed to do the in lieu of self-report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get all that, Valerie?
Yes. That's right. Thanks, Lisa. I didn't even look.
Is there any other notifications or changes? Lisa?
I don't have the March 10th minutes.
You want to have what?
I have November 13th of 2025. Is it just the heading value that?
Yeah, that's the.
Okay, it's just the heading, because I read those, I didn't even look at the heading, but I think it is just the heading.
Yeah, I've got a template that I use and.
Got it.
I
So it's
noticed that
March.
too, but so, you're gonna change that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was what, March 20? Thank you. Otherwise, with Kevin's comment and the heading change, they look good. I'd move to adopt.
With those changes.
With Kevin's change and the heading change, yeah.
Okay. We have a motion to adopt with the changes. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I'll move to seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Our next item up would be our business items, and we'll start with our managing director, from Jared.
So a lot of what I've been working on, you'll see I'm creating a lot of our business items for today. So a lot of financial pieces, streamlined financial reporting and documentation that many of these pieces come from Kevin, just as administrative pieces for the consortium and our management of our funds with the fiscal agent accounting. I also have our proposed fiscal year 26 and 27 budgets in here. They needed time to be posted, so we won't be officially adopting them in this meeting. But the information is there. So again, spend a lot of time with that. You can see more of these details in my actual report. I did spend time in DC, as I said I was going to, and met with the infrastructure staff for both Senator Merkley and Senator Wyden. And both meetings went really, really well. In fact, one of the meetings, they scheduled those meetings. I was scheduled for about 30 minutes, and one of the meetings went for about 90 minutes because they had so many additional questions and follow-up, and were super supportive of our community-initiated project requests and wanted additional information so that they could, again, continue and advocate for us at the legislative in Washington, DC. So, and then of course, again, and these next two pieces you'll see in our agenda, we have had the the Amazon settlement, and so questions about that, and I've been working closely with Eileen, our attorney, in getting more information and the next steps forward, and how that may or may not affect the consortium, in particular for funding, how we can be part of that. And then, of course, the IGA and our continued work with the city of Boardman, and hashing out some of the, really finalizing how we can we can come to an agreement that's mutually beneficial for the residents of West Glen, and for the city of Boardman, and how the consortium, can deliver on all of that. So, including in the packet, you'll see a draft of an IGA as recommended by, in our last meeting, working with Boardman. So, that's all I really have, unless people have additional questions. So,
I don't have a question, I do have a comment. The website's looking pretty good.
Ah.
You,
it's still a work in
I know,
progress.
but I like the
I
way it looks.
literally every week I'm like, I gotta do something on this. And
Yeah.
so,
No, I mean, it's got a good look to it. I hope everybody has a chance to go on and look at it. Yes. Okay. Next up would be our consortium talking points. That's Jared also.
so this comes from, the Amazon settlement, and I've had requests, media requests, specifically for a comment from the consortium and how this may or may not relate to us. And so I crafted these as talking points and also ran them a little bit by Dave and by Lisa, or at least asked for some feedback. And so the point to these are, if you are asked as well, it's guidance. Obviously, that's what talking points are, just, so you don't have to try to pull something out of your head. But the focus for us in this settlement, we are not part of the settlement in terms, meaning we are not plaintiffs, we're not defendants, we are not affected citizens. We are an organization that was created by, as you guys know, the county and the port to solve one of the issues of the Luguama nitrate issue and getting residents clean water in the unaffected parts of Morrow County. And so where we really, as we relate to this specifically, is the funding settlement, and in the initial release of information and in the settlement, a portion of funds, in fact, the significant amount of funds is being set aside specifically for infrastructure projects related to getting people clean water. And that's exactly what we do. And so I've literally just created these bullet points, these talking points, as a way to emphasize how we are positioned to administer those funds and continue the work that we're doing.
Kelly, any comments on these? Or?
Yeah, I have some comments. I think that I don't even want to discuss this. To me, we're overstepping over our reach. I don't know that the settlement has even been inked yet. And we've hired a lawyer to go out and do this. I want to know, where did this direction come from? We're trying to build trust with our community, and I don't think this is the way to do it. I don't even know what to think about this at this moment, that we're going after funds that.
Does it say we're going after funds?
All I've asked our attorney to do is to get the details. And that's, as our attorney, as someone who can talk to another attorney and get the legal details. And we already have our counsel, we already have our retainer. So it's Eileen that I've asked specifically to do that. I have not hired an additional attorney.
I understand that. I'm just wondering.
Because I've gotten 2 requests from media for comments specific to it, and I didn't even know about it until I got those media requests.
Is there a copy of the settlement that we can see? I haven't seen it. I've only read it in the paper.
It's not inked yet.
Okay, you just said that. Okay, right, okay.
There is no settlement yet. So this is very premature and very presumptuous of us to even put this out there right now. I think it's gonna stub our toes again with the people that we're representing.
You'll notice in the talking points, it actually says, the only thing that says about the settlement is in the very last line. So, well, I guess in the second bullet point too, but it's really just restating the pieces from our own founding documents, the IGA. That's all it's saying.
So where did you get the information that said that some of that money was to go to you said infrastructure projects and other projects. Where did you find that
In
information?
the press release from the attorneys of the law firm who's representing the class action suit.
Okay.
That's where all that information is.
That's out there, Kelly.
Yeah, that's out there.
Yeah, no.
I think these are good because not only just with the settlement, but also, so we're all on the same page. You know, because I had the media talk to me too, and I like for us all to be on the same page because this just talks about where we're at and what has been done and, you know, the facts about this. And, I wouldn't mind seeing this updated every once in a while. So we all are on the same page. If we get contacted by the media, if somebody from the public talks to us or asks us, what do you guys do? So this goes way beyond, the possible settlement to me.
So the talking points are, is we're going to look for money from that settlement from AWS. Is that our talking points?
No, it says like in the last or the second bullet point, the consortium is uniquely positioned to execute the specific infrastructure goals outlined in the settlement. Our shovel-ready projects directly align with the settlement's criteria, expanding pipelines, securing sustainable water sources, and modernizing public utility systems. That's language that's in the settlement release, the release of information from the team. That's why we use that. And that you see that similar language in our IGA and founding documents for this organization. And then last line too, the consortium represents the most direct, accountable, and technically prepared pathway to transform the settlement funds into functional clean water infrastructure.
Okay.
So that's the purpose of this, so that it makes it clear.
Okay, any other discussion on that?
I do. I have a couple of thoughts. I don't disagree with Kelly that it's a little premature because as a board, we haven't given you, Jared, direction to pursue those funds. So I would propose that this be, maybe do some wordsmithing that says, among other funds the county may pursue or the CWC may pursue, because we haven't yet, and I haven't seen the settlement, and it hasn't been inked yet, so it's not available to see it. So I would also add a clause that says it's premature, but they are among a suite of options of funding that the CWC may pursue. And then I'm a word person, so I might provide, on the second paragraph where I would add the initial bullet would be what I just said, that the consortium has not taken formal action, but it could be among sources of funding that we pursue if those funds are available for that purpose. Because we don't know. I mean, the settlement agreement, we're not a party to it, so we don't even know if that's available to us. And then I would, so I'm tough. I mean, it's good work. I appreciate
No,
that
it's-
being proactive.
I didn't know what to tell the media, and I said, I need to talk to my board.
Yeah,
And so I did the proactive thing in creating the potential talking points. You could literally take the introductory paragraph out, and it still applies to the consortium 100%.
I think so. And that would be my point, but I think it might be regarding any funds that might be available.
And that's fine. I just wanted you to have context.
Yeah.
What drove me to all of a sudden create these talking points?
And again, those were my words. I appreciate you being proactive, and it's always easier to be the editor than the original author.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree totally with Tamara and the fact that I want to see a raise of hands if this is what we're going to do as a board.
Do what? Adopt talking points?
To promote this or to have these talking points.
You prepared to make a motion?
No, I will not make that motion.
Why wouldn't we want to pursue that?
Talking points or a response to the settlement? I would propose that I like very much the idea that we have talking points relative to funding. And summarized here, because we can always like pull out of our laptop what our, what do we call it? Not articles of incorporation, but our IGA and our goals and objectives. But bullet points are so, elevator talk, those are super convenient. But if we make it a little bit more generic and remove reference to any settlement that hasn't been inked, I'd be comfortable.
And I
with
think
that.
if I made a motion, it would be to table this.
Okay, well, if you're gonna, are you going to?
Sure, I'd make the motion to table this.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, they've moved a second in. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Aye.
I,
Okay, so,
May I offer, if I can change some wording in that opening paragraph? I would like to be able to comment, and I don't feel comfortable commenting to the media on perhaps on behalf of the consortium without your approval on some bullet points to speak to them. Does that make sense? I mean, I could always pull stuff out, but I'm more worried about that in misrepresenting you, the board, and this consortium without some guidance from you. Because we all know that this is not the first time we're gonna
Right.
have this request.
And part of our purpose for you is that they don't call us. You are, you're a
exactly.
hired person to call. And I very much appreciate that you would want some guidance. I would say it's premature to comment because we don't understand the terms of the settlement agreement.
well,
But the purpose of the consortium is to generate revenue and to build projects and help provide clean drinking water.
how can we make that change so that he has something tonight to
I
talk to the media with? How can you make that change? How would you propose making?
I have
change
a
to the
suggestion
public?
really quick.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pursuant to the request for comments concerning the consortium's purposes, consider the following.
Right, and then,
And I can take out some specific wording for settlement here.
on the second paragraph where it says.
Yeah. In this.
Our shovel-ready projects, I'd take out the word directly. And we don't know the terms of the settlement criteria, so I'd take out that whole piece.
Include.
Our shovel-ready projects include expanding pipelines, securing sustainable water sources.
Okay, you ready?
Yep,
Second bullet point, the consortium is uniquely positioned to execute the specific infrastructure and goals, infrastructure goals.
yes, period.
Our shovel-ready projects include
Uh-huh.
expanding pipe, those three things.
Perfect.
And then the very last paragraph, I literally just took out the settlement. So to transform funds into functional, clean water infrastructure.
I also, given that there are sensitivities and there are other groups who are. I don't want to presume we're the only group or entity or individual out there trying to develop clean water sources. We're one, that's our intent, but there might be individuals who are, I wouldn't say that, I'd take out represents the most direct. I'd say the consortium is an accountable and technically prepared entity to use the funds, to use,
And accountable.
and accountable to use funds for clean water infrastructure for the affected residents of Morrow County.
Okay.
Sorry, I know that sort of takes us down a notch, but we might not be the premier entity. We might like to think we are, but there are other people out there on their own who are trying to advocate for projects, and I don't want to discredit that.
okay.
And Umatilla County.
And in Umatilla County as well, that's true.
Yeah, but again, that's what I said specifically.
But excellent, sorry, I told you I'm a tough word person, but I think really appreciate the initiative and appreciate the position you're in. And thank you for speaking for us and checking in on that.
Okay.
So with these changes, and I can read those if you'd like. Pursuant to the request for comments concerning the consortium's purposes, consider the following. The other change is in the second bullet. The consortium is uniquely positioned to execute the specific infrastructure goals. Our shovel-ready projects include expanding pipelines, securing sustainable water sources, and modernizing public utility systems. And then the last bullet, the consortium represents an accountable and technically prepared pathway to transform funds into functional clean water infrastructure
Yeah.
for the affected residents of Morrow County.
Okay.
I like that.
We want a motion to accept that?
I'd make a motion to accept those talking points for the for consortium members or from Jared to use on our behalf to represent the consortium.
Okay, do you hear a second on that?
let's make this clear. Is this to represent, are these just our talking points or are these talking points to,
They're general talking points,
Well,
not
provide-
relevant.
Let me get a second on this and then we'll have discussion, okay? I'll second it. Now we have discussion, so.
are these talking, you made the motion, you wanted to?
Sure, I'm happy to discuss. They're just general talking points.
Okay, so
And we
that's,
took out reference to any settlement or any particular fund that may be available.
so these are our talking points for the consortium.
It's not an exhaustive list, I would admit that, but I think it gives Jared some direction when he's called on a whole number of things.
So are these going to go out to the media? Or, I guess that's my question, because you had the question about what you're gonna answer to the media, and this is what you're going to say. And how is that going to answer their questions about the settlement?
It is giving them information about what the consortium stance is on these things. This is what the consortium does, and then they can draw their own conclusions.
We have no comment about
Yeah.
the settlement. It's not even a public, we haven't formally acted on it.
We are not a party to the settlement.
I'm still a no.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, been moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay. All right. Next up is a monthly.
Sorry, Tim. I did create a letterhead, so we needed an official letterhead too, so, but thank you for catching that.
Okay, next up is our monthly financial report. Kevin, you gonna give that or this?
Unless you'd like to.
Yeah, no, go for it.
And so this is a first pass, basic. Revenue and expense report and balance sheet, and then
Oh, the
sources.
balance sheet did not attach. I kept getting an error and I had to remove it.
So this is just a revenue and expense report and there's not much on the balance sheet anyways. As well as a detail of sources and uses of funding. That sources and uses of funding obviously will be expanded as other sources of funding are identified. I guess the one thing I would highlight is general operating expenditures that aren't specific to any particular project. My understanding is that those should be funded through sponsor payments and then potentially any other general non-project and non-capital restricted funding that the consortium may receive. So please, give me other direction if that's if the intent is something other than that. And other than that, it's my goal to give this board and Jared the information that you need in a format that's useful to you. So if you want to see more information, less information, something completely different, just communicate that with me and I'd be happy to accommodate that.
I think this is good. Once we get to building projects, it's gonna be a lot more complicated.
Yeah, individual projects, as they move forward, I would include specific detail for, an individual project or multiple individual projects, just depending on what that looks like.
On this back page, the funding detail, you've got restricted funds. Have we not got those unrestricted yet? Or are those restricted not by the CREZ dollars or because it says CREZ and?
So all I have at this point are the letters that came with the checks. And I will tell you that we received, not reflected here because I received in the month of, this is through March, right? Yeah, so we received them subsequent to this period. So in April, another CREZ distribution, and that letter also indicated for use for capital projects and related expenses. So my understanding is there was a different direction discussed and maybe even a motion. I don't have that.
Did you get the newest funding already?
Yes.
Yeah, in the same letter. Who writes those letters out, Lisa?
Marta?
Did Marta not I mean, is that what you guys, I wasn't at the meeting, so I'm not on the press board, so I don't know if that was the direction that they. Was it ever a motion to do that?
The motion was to give the Clean Water Consortium $400,000.
Was it restricted?
They cleaned it up. They corrected it, right, Lisa?
I don't recall.
Yes, they did.
Matt,
didn't mean clean it
Matt can address that.
And board. So, I recalled and was very specific on this because we wanted to get that clarified. The $400,000 from the, CREZ 2 was unrestricted. The monies from the CREZ 3 were not going to be, because Mara pointed out there was a capital, restriction under the AWS, CDS items that the award letter that we received, Kevin pointed out to me that it was still restricted, that $400,000. So I had sent in a message to Marta to get that updated. I have not seen that yet. But I can still take it as a task item and follow up with Jared as well to make sure we get an updated letter on that.
So this one here is going to be unrestricted, and the 800,000, that's still restricted. I'm not sure what the amounts are, which ones you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, so it would be a $400,000
Right, this is the first one.
would be unrestricted.
That's unrestricted.
Yeah, so all of the CREZ funds that we've received thus
So
far
far.
have had that restriction.
Okay,
And so I guess I would, if we could get a direct, letter communication detailing, the intended uses and restrictions on the funding, that'd be extremely helpful. That's what I'm gonna use, as the guidance.
And CREZ 3 has not been distributed. It's been approved, but not distributed.
that was just the recent one. How much was that for? Did any of it go to the water?
So was it the CREZ 2 check that I just?
Yeah,
received?
Yeah, so because 3 money, but did they, I know it was in our packet. I can't remember if it said water money or not.
I think so. I think it did.
400, another 4 additional?
Aaron, do you remember?
Yeah, so under CREZ 2, or let me see, CREZ 3, the CDS money, very clear, in the CDS, that's the community development, that is restricted according to the contract. That's the 500,000. Now, under CREZ 3 that was just dispersed, the consortium got no money.
Oh,
It just went to the sponsor.
Just went to the sponsor in the city. So there's
Okay.
3 entities. That's it.
Okay.
For the CREZ 3 that just happened last week.
okay. There was
Okay.
no additional money coming in.
No additional money.
Okay,
But the CREZ 2, 400,000 was unrestricted, and Matt will follow it up. I've got issues too.
Okay.
With Marta to correct stuff. So it is unrestricted. The 400,000. Okay, Jared, you and Matt, he'll help camp on Marta's desk. Does that make sense, Lisa?
It does.
Yeah. So my recommendation would be to you all as an advisory, then go to the sponsor and or city as a clean water consortium if you want to get money from the CREZ 3 distribution, if you want to and can, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. And that would be either the city, which I probably wouldn't mean anyway. Brenda's on, the county or the board, or to get money out of the CREZ 3 recent distribution, if they want to give it, but it was only like total about 1.8 million, I think. That included everything on the rough.
It was a 2 million total disbursement. I think we held back a little bit.
Yeah, but there was close to
40,
1.9 was 8.9 that had everything, including public safety and the school thing and very small.
My list is upstairs here. I just,
Huh?
Yeah,
I just read it. I can't tell you.
packet, but I don't remember. That either.
Okay, any other questions like Kevin? Not?
Do you need a motion from them or just a report?
We don't have a suggested motion, so.
Thank you.
Uh,
I was the only one who spoke. Does anybody else need more detail? Looks.
Okay,
And then checkbook.
Oh, goodness.
okay. We're up to D, proposed fiscal year 2026 and fiscal year 2027 budgets.
They're attached in here. You'll see, there was not one yet for 26, and we still have this last quarter of 26. So I went ahead and took what has been spent and or tentatively what is budgeted for those in fiscal year 26. I believe under the Matt and Valerie, maybe you can correct me, but I believe we can adopt the fiscal year 26 budget. It's fiscal year 27 will require the conversations that were had in this with this group last year state specifically that the fiscal year 27 budget will be adopted in May or June. So we will need to wait. That's what it says. So for now, that is just fiscal year 27 is just proposed and for your information, but you could move to adopt fiscal year 26.
Do Kevin or Jared, does that need to be advertised as a budget meeting or budget hearing for us to adopt the 26?
It does not.
I think
Okay.
we decided not to do that, right?
Right. Oh, that's right. We went through that, yes, with your guidance. I appreciate that. Okay.
Any questions on the budget?
And you would like the money.
Additional
I
questions?
guess my only question is if we do have additional funding opportunities, how are we going to amend this budget?
We could always adjust the budget if we have additional revenue.
Are you expecting some of the current fiscal, we're fiscal year, we decided that, I don't remember, okay. Are you expecting some for the current fiscal year between now and the end of June
No, but FY 26 would be July 1 budget,
of 27? The 27 budget.
26, 27 is the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're currently in 26, which will end on June
So
30th.
the first, correct, so then the next one is July 1 of 27.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
in
right.
here as well.
And that starts on page 1 of the
Yeah.
27 piece. So you're looking for a motion to approve FY 2026 proposed.
Yeah, the only thing that
Make that motion?
I would like a little more detail is, you know, where, you know, the grants and donations, if those were broke out just a little bit more, so we,
Mhm.
so when you're looking, you know, local revenues, grants and
The
donations.
27 though, yeah. Oh, for the
Just-
27.
Yeah, just so when that comes out, that it's. Oh,
Oh, to
never mind.
itemize.
It's on the next page.
Okay.
Never mind, it's on the next page. You
Yeah.
got it. That helps a lot.
Page 1 is just the summary, and then the next 2 pages are the detail.
Mhm.
So,
That makes sense.
So are we ready? I'll make a motion that we approve the FY 2026 budget
Okay. Do I hear a
as
second?
presented.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried.
just for item of information for 27, the audit services is something we are gonna need to, contract for, because, well, we hope to have a project started in 27, which would require now a little bit more auditing. And therefore, so that's really the only big change. That and my salary for a full year as opposed to just a couple of months. So.
I know, first I read it, like, you cut yourself short, but then I paid attention. So, okay. And so, you would propose to add that when you come back for the 2027?
I have it already on
Already
there.
in
I
there.
just wanted to make clear like that, why that is.
Oh, it's the 10,000.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
It's not on 26 because we didn't need it, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we good on that? Okay, we have the E, resolution number 15601, authorization to invest funds.
And
You want me to-
yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
So, this is a practice, by our county treasurer's office.
anytime, that the county acts as the custodian of funds for, any other agencies, we, before investing, those funds, and that investment could be as simple as just the LGIP. She obtains the authorization to invest from the agency that we're acting as a custodian of funds for. So there's two options. We maintain. Did they both make it in here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first option, we have some agencies that we hold funds for that don't wish to they don't desire to invest outside of the LGIP. And so there's that option. The alternative option is to pool it with the county's investment portfolio. That's a managed investment portfolio that adheres to the county's investment policy and strategy. Those funds are managed by GPA, it's government portfolio analysts. That's what they do is manage investment of public funds. That will historically has resulted in higher rates of return. And adheres to all the investment restrictions that are outlined in Oregon statutes and imposed by the Oregon Short-Term Fund Board. So it certainly, you can do either one. My recommendation would be to pool with the county's overall investment portfolio, just because of the rate of return, but either way, report depends on what your preference is.
What's,
What is the rate of return?
oh yeah, what's the,
Karen's got a question back there.
Real quick, rate of return is about 5.2, 5.3, and it's very, very healthy. I would, better than anything else, and I'd Philip put that there. One thing that's interesting is that you try to go to a local bank and all that, the pool has some flexibility, go to banks and other investment, they're not FDIC protected like the pool is. And so I would, if you want to see our public record, I can show you what we do as a city, but I mean, it's just for a little city, that healthy interest return that we get through the pool, just ours. Because we're also not only managed, whether the city or the county, you're in a bigger pool with other agencies and it just grows like crazy.
So you would agree with Kevin?
I do agree.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I highly recommend it. It makes it easier because the county is also the keeper of the budget and the process, and it makes it easier for him, but it's very, very strong. You can make some good interest in helping projects.
little risk, a lot of risk, low risk?
Not risk-free, but it's minimal and managed.
Very minimal.
Cause I know it's
We have money
stock
there.
market's tanked right now, so.
Any other comments? That a suggested motion?
Hold on, Kevin. This is a resolution. Do I need to change the language in the resolution? Because it currently says local government investment pool. Does the board, this board need to decide between which fund it wants to invest in?
Oh,
I
yeah.
apologize, I got these from our treasurer and did not scrutinize them, so we just don't want to.
Oh, shouldn't say unallocated.
So there's two orders in here, the one that's on page 25 and 27 is a blanket authorization to invest, and so that's where we would invest using the managed investment services from GPA. And then the one that's on page 26 is specifically maintaining that all the funds inside the LGIP and not managed under our investment management services. That makes sense.
So
Do you
we
need a
approve one, not the other?
No.
Yeah, one of those two orders.
depending on the board's preference.
And your preference was for the LGIP?
My recommendations for the one that's on page 25, that gives a blanket authorization to invest, so that we can, and the LGIP is a component of that, but there's other investments outside of that, the county has. Outside of the LGIP.
Okay.
And those are all managed by GPA.
So Kevin, my question is do we need this resolution for both of them? Or just for the one if we invest with the state? And if we need it for both, then I could just strike the fourth one where it says specifically the LGIP. Otherwise, it just says it's authorizing the treasurer.
You know what, maybe maybe it's best if I table this and I go back and I clarify with the treasurer. Exactly which one and what's needed further.
Cause she gave me the forms and she said she needed a resolution, but then yeah,
Right.
Aaron trying.
Okay, so help you out, Kevin, you should know this, sorry, but, the first one is it lets the county treasurer invest anywhere. I would not recommend that as somebody that's done that, because the risk is too high and they can go to banks or whatever. The second one on page 26 is you authorize the treasurer to put it on behalf of the consortium into the pool. The other one gives it the treasurer to do whatever, invest it. They can take it down to,
That's not actually accurate. The county has adopted an investment policy
Yeah.
that
yeah, but it's
was,
still,
that has to be approved by the short-term fund board and there's
Sorry,
restricted investments that we're allowed to invest in.
And tell me again who GPA is.
Government portfolio analysts
Okay,
or advisors, I'm sorry, government portfolio advisors. That's all they do is invest public funds.
Is there urgency, is tabling it,
There's not, urgency other than just, foregone, interest distributions.
for a month?
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, I was looking at the words and a little confused, so.
And if you're interested in exploring either of the options, I mean, the LGIP is pretty straightforward. We could certainly arrange if you wanted to explore the other option with, GPA. I'm sure that we could arrange for them to appear and via Zoom and discuss with the board and answer all the questions that you have.
we have funds at the LGIP also, but I just have not heard of GPA.
Okay, you looking for a motion to table?
I'm just
No,
providing
we-
information.
oh, I
I'm not
thought-
looking for any particular
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
motion. I said if the board would like, I could certainly take this back to Jaylene and get clarification on which one of these resolutions and orders. This looks like there's one resolution and a few orders, but I'd like to.
Okay, so no table or no motion would give this in, right?
Yeah, we don't need a resolution unless you guys want, do you want to have the GPA? Or the LGIP? Cause we could decide that in a motion. And then assign the appropriate resolution when we have the correct wording for it. You could still decide that today. We just don't, it's just the resolution we have specifically says LGIP.
Yeah, that's why I was a little confused. So it narrows it to that and doesn't give Jalen the option.
Well, that's
To the general
we as a board have to decide which one you're going to use.
But I thought the was LGIP was a subcategory. isn't
LGIP
that
is the
more
one
narrow?
that's the
So-
state manager.
There's LGIP only. Or there's the county's pooled investment portfolio, which the
Include,
county's LGIP fund is a portion of that, but there are investments outside of the LGIP in line with the county's adopted investment policy.
Your suggestion was though to go with the counties.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we can accommodate either, and that's purely based on, just a marginal, increase in the rate of return. I don't have that number, but I can also get that.
Mhm.
Okay, what do you think? Just don't do anything?
Well, did you guys want to decide?
I would like to have the language that Kevin is most comfortable with that maximizes it instead of, making a motion based on something I don't have in front of me.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, I can bring it back with more clarity.
yeah.
Apologize for that.
No, that's okay. You probably just got it.
Is the board interested in hearing from or meeting with the representative from GBA?
Sure. I'm really comfortable with LGIP. I will say that. The port's invested there for many, many years.
In addition to other, or do you have all of your? You have other entities who invest with?
Well, invest is a relative
Right,
term.
it's holding money, yeah, that's right, yeah, that's right, yeah,
Yeah.
understood. We can, but I also think if it's proven that it works for the county, works for the port, and you're confident, I trust your judgment, but if you think we have some space in an agenda, we could do that. Like how long would that presentation take?
And
Oh, okay, that's worth.
maybe 15.
Maybe something that we'd like to hear anyway.
It might be.
Lisa would like to hear it.
Definitely.
Sure.
I will reach out. and-
We'll grab
Jared
Eileen and Jason and
Yeah.
let them listen too.
We got consensus, Jared and Kevin will put that up for a coming agenda. Okay. Anything else on that? Okay. Yeah, resolution number 2026-2, authorization to approve managing director invoices and expenses.
So in our bylaws, it gives me the opportunity to approve expenses up to 25,000 for our contractors or for other things, but it's not clear who approves mine. And so we just need a formal resolution authorizing the board chair or the representative of the board to approve my expenses.
Well, I will make a motion to authorize board chair to approve expenses for managing.
Okay, very second.
I'll second that.
I have a question, are we approving then this resolution or just that?
Yeah, it is a resolution, so.
Yeah, so I guess this also says approved contracts, which makes me a little bit more nervous.
Up to 25,000.
Yeah, do we need to include that?
I think.
Chair, just a point of clarification. So in our adopted procurement, it allows, it did include contracts and invoices. So small contracts for, some information, one of them, similar to, if we had a community outreach kind of item that was known as a part of a project that was less than 25,000, the managing director would be authorized to engage and sign that without waiting to come back to the board. But anything over that $25,000 would come before the board.
So that would be clarified. I mean, he's obligated to follow procurement laws.
Yeah.
Which is also in our fiscal policy.
It's really boilerplate language that we've used here and using the existing language that we had as well. Just like I said, it wasn't clear who can authorize mine. It says the director can authorize other expenses, but who approves mine? I can't approve my own, so.
And the question came up is when Kevin and I looked at each other and said, who signs off on Jared's
Agreements, that's pretty vague.
invoice for his time? Because I'm no longer in that role and we need to have someone be able to sign up.
Would you be more comfortable if we had a clause that referenced the, consistent with our procurement? Is it called procurement policies that we have? Or fiscal policies that we adopted previously?
Chair, Brian,
So just to clarify, this is only regarding expenses. So the payment of Jared's contract fees and reimbursable expenses essentially is what this is limited to, because it wouldn't be appropriate for him to be authorizing payments to himself. So this is specifically limited to
You're reading
things to him.
in the second paragraph there, whereas section 4.2.2, that is directly from our bylaws language.
No, I'm down at the next one. Well, I'm at that one too, and then I'm down at the next sentence too, where
Whereas the bylaw,
bylaws do not specifically identify the appropriate authority to approve agreements and expenditures associated with money. So what agreements would that? I
it's,
mean,
it's,
pretty broad statement.
it's my invoice and my reimbursements.
So you're calling those agreements, and this seems funny language to say.
Yeah. It's boilerplate language, like, so.
Relating to the management. I guess it kind of qualifies it at the bottom, but.
Did Eileen look at this or was
She's the one who made it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I'm.
Not gonna argue with the lawyer.
No, yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been doing this, not this job, but.
Struck me as.
It's been seconded. Are we
Okay,
still good with
Lisa-
the same
Lisa made the
motion?
motion.
Well, my motion was not to approve the resolution, but I will amend my motion
Uh-huh.
to approve resolution 2026-02.
Okay. It's been moved
Second.
and seconded to make the motion as approved. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we're on to, G. Yep. That is, they find on the report and the audit for year ending June 30th, 2025.
So we received a communication, the consortium received a communication from the Oregon Secretary of State's Office Audits Division, notifying us that there was a requirement for fiscal year 2026 to file a financial report in lieu of audit. Obviously, the expenditures were well below the $250,000 threshold. But we still do have to file that report in lieu of. It's a very basic and straightforward report. The report requires, and this is a canned form provided by Secretary of State Audits Division. And it requires the signature of, it designates an elected official, which is odd as it applies to this organization, but we do have an elected official on the board, so. If there's any questions or further discussion on all of that.
Got your name on it, Dave. Do you have any questions?
I know, so. Any questions? My printer ran out of paper before I printed the last pages, and I didn't notice. I'm kind of stuck. I'm trying to read it off my phone. I'll just share it with you.
I guess they're also.
No, I read it. I just was wondering about the proposed motion is what I was looking.
Oh.
I had a chance to read it on the computer. I just didn't have a chance. Okay. We have a suggested motion, move to approve the report in lieu of audit for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. Authorize the board chair to sign the report and direct Morrow County as a fiscal agent to file with the Oregon Secretary of State Audits Division. And somebody make that motion.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it.
move to second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Okay, I'm gonna show that you're very.
Yeah, you're fine. That's just my scribbling for notes, but I can't make it to here.
I was gonna bring my computer. I said, well, I got it all printed out. Okay. Next up will be our entity administrator authorization letter for Sandy Beck.
That's also good.
Sorry for throwing all this administrative stuff at you in one meeting. So if the consortium, is potentially, could potentially receive, any federal awards in the future. One of the things that'll be required is registration on SAM.gov and the attainment of the UEI number, the entity, unique entity identification number. And there is a little bit of a process to get registered on SAM.gov. So there would be, well, the board has to designate an entity administrator for the purposes of making and maintaining that registration. That entity administrator does need to be an employee or a board member with the consortium. An employee of the fiscal agent is widely accepted. And then the second motion would be to authorize the board. So my recommendation is to authorize me as the entity administrator to make the registration and maintain that. There's a letter, the entity administrator authorization letter that needs to be completed and signed typically by the board chair. And so that's what the second motion is, to authorize Chair Sykes to complete and sign that letter.
I'll make that motion to authorize Kevin Ince to act as the entity administrator.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
And here's a second or further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay, thank you.
Well, we got it in a second.
Oh, yeah, we got the second. Move to authorize,
I can make
okay, go ahead.
Authorize a member of the board, and I would like to authorize, Chair Sykes to sign the entity administrator authorization letter. And it looks like you need to take that to a notary and have that matched as well, so.
Gotta be notarized. Okay,
Yes.
do I hear a second on that one?
Second that.
And then move to second, further discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay. Now we got upper IJ with City of Boardman for West Glen Project Engineering. Let's chair it.
So, as I mentioned before, we continue to work with Boardman on, our kind of next steps with West Glen and the extension of the water and how that all works out. But it was proposed last meeting, we talked about an RFP. Instead, it was discussed perhaps entering into an IGA with Boardman for that engineering. And so, I had an IGA drafted, and floated those ideas past the city of Boardman as well. And they like the idea as well, but that's all this is. This is the draft of the IGA to move forward with engineering of the next project.
And I thought that we put that on hold, waiting for the city to make a decision at the last meeting. I thought that was the direction that we were headed.
But we put the RFP on hold, and then you talked about the IGA. And so the IGA, this is just a draft, and then conversation with Boardman if they would even be willing, if they are able, if this is, part of how we can make it happen. So.
So no action.
No, well, you could approve a motion to move forward with the IGA or authorize me to move forward with the IGA.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm still thinking that we need to wait until Boardman even approves it, adopts it. And I thought that we were going to make a presentation for them shortly and push that forward.
So would the authorization be, my memory might not be 100% accurate, is that we postponed. We looked to a cost saving measure to do an IGA with Boardman rather than a separate standalone RFP.
and gave you the direction to coordinate with the city. And one of us has to act first, so maybe the motion is for you to pursue an IGA. And one of us, whatever, as staff between you and the city of Boardman think is a reasonable final product, and run it through your respective legal counsel.
Correct.
That-
And the
then
legal
it-
counsel created the IGA for us.
Yes, you said that, and thank you for clarifying that, that's helpful, I mean, you're probably perfectly capable, it always gives me one more box to check, but, that makes a lot of sense to me, and then if they wanna act first, great, but are you thinking, Kelly? we
This
need
is
to
for
do-
engineering services and I thought we decided that we weren't going to even, until Boardman moved, that we weren't going to move on.
What is your expectation of Boardman?
Some kind of vote from the, I mean, we can talk about to the administration all we want, but until the board.
So I do have, making a presentation to Boardman in May, to their city council about some potential projects and, about the governance of those projects so that they can make a decision. And we would like to be able to say, we would like to enter into an IGA for this. Basically, we would fund, the engineering project as part of that proposal. I would not feel comfortable making that without your recommendation, without your approval to go forward with that, because I don't want to say, hey, yeah, we'll enter in an IGA and then turn around and you guys say, no, we're not gonna enter into an IGA with the city of Portland. So.
Again, I think we're premature on our
Well, I think we need to give him.
pushing. If, if we continue to push and push and push, but we're not getting anywhere. We're still not hearing from the city of Boardman.
I think we need to give him some, something to tell them that we're behind him.
So, just a point, if we approve this, then our chair, David Sykes, would sign it, but Brandon probably isn't going to sign it until he's run this through the more formal process that you're describing and that you, Jared, are talking about.
Yeah, no, this is just an approval to move forward on the IGAs, because last time it just brought up. And so I
Mhm.
created a draft IGA
Mhm.
for you guys to authorize me to go forward with an IGA. That's its intent. That's what the motion even says. It's, so we're not technically signing anything tonight. This is about motioning the approval of this agreement in principle.
I'm not used to working where the motions are already drafted for you to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Everywhere I've always been,
Yeah.
that's, we provided.
Yeah, it's
Um,
just not a poor thing, probably.
Okay.
I would make a motion to approve entering into an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Portland to provide engineering services. But I think we need to define, a scope of work and a dollar amount.
Not to exceed.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I don't know how we do that before, I don't know how we approve this without those items.
Yeah, it says that we have a master plan for the design, and I don't know that that's something that we have either.
So that's what they. Clarify your question, Kelly?
Yeah, it says that the board of directors has approved a master plan for the design and implementation of projects in specific parts of the Lawna. I'm not sure that I don't remember doing that.
Rather than authorizing or having a motion to authorize the actual IGA, if we can just have a motion to proceed
Mhm.
using this as a basis in final negotiations with Boardman, just to give the board tie-in of what the documents we're gonna be using, and then we can work out with the Boardman City Council and the Boardman City Manager over the next month, and then hopefully have something concrete. We just wanted, this is a response to the discussions from last month. Eileen worked this up with Jared. I think it's a fairly good basic, I mean, it's a template. We need to fill in some things, so authorizing and approving it might not be the proper thing as the IGA, but authorizing him to proceed to negotiate using this document would probably be the better motion.
Correct.
That's what my motion said, I think.
Yes.
All right, that's it.
Valerie, you want to read that back? Let's see what we got.
Well, the motion let's see,
Here, I'll start over. I would like to make a motion, that we allow Jared the, opportunity to negotiate an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Boardman to provide engineering services, a scope of work, and an amount on the contract will be delivered to us at our next meeting.
The IGA would be delivered or contract?
Well, just the next time,
Well,
you would have to approve any contract over 25,000 anyway,
Yeah,
so.
got Okay,
You second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, then moved and second, any further discussion? All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye,
Okay.
all opposed, same sign, okay, motion carried.
Good work, that's a lot of work.
Alrighty.
And I appreciate that it takes a lot of discussions before it goes to board and for formal action, but I appreciate also that you're moving in that direction. Mhm.
And I think this gives him something to show that we're behind him on this.
Because they might ask the same question of us, Kelly, like, well, who's gonna move first?
Yeah.
So this shows us the spirit of intent is to work collaboratively
spirit of intent is to provide clean water.
and work collaboratively with the city and resident. Okay.
And they have been very, again, I'll echo what Matt said earlier, that they have been very responsive. This last month, they've been very positive in moving forward, and they have some rates, and we have, again, we're starting to get numbers and other things so that we can move forward with this.
Right.
initiative.
Okay. Last business item, Joe, resolution number 2026-03, rules for public comments. Has everyone had a chance to look those over?
I have not.
The chair,
Yes.
from parliamentary, the first one under the number one is, I wouldn't put it in the document at the end of each meeting. That locks and ties your hands. You want to have public meeting, public input, but this one says you will do it at the end of the meeting. I think we should have flexibility. So then you could put it on the agenda, but what if you wanted to modify your agenda? You can't. Cannot. It will be at the end of the meeting.
Well, you just have to move it to the end after the modification, right?
It would always have to be at the end. The second thing is, from my long historic over 30 years of experience, you want public comment at the top. One, we're here to serve people, let them speak, and if they want to go home, go home. Number two is, my first half of my career was at the end of a meeting, and people will sit and they'll listen to how you vote, and then they just tear you apart. That's wrong, and it doesn't build continuity. You want people to be able to speak up front, and if they don't want to stay, they don't have to, they can. Then they can still come back at a later time and comment how you did vote and all that. But in the middle of the meeting, they are not part of the governing body. So you're not required by law to have public comment. You are required to have it open for public to be able to be there. But the biggest one is, don't put it at the end of the meeting. Don't put it in a document. It gives you flexibility to do whatever.
What's the board's thought on this? Lisa, you have something?
I agree with Aaron. I do prefer the comment at the beginning of the meeting instead of at the end. And I will, make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-03 with the modification to paragraph 1 that deletes the words "the end of." So it will now read, unless special circumstances require otherwise, the board chair will invite public comment at each regular meeting and as provided on the agenda of any public hearing held by the board.
I'll second that.
Like that, Valerie? Was it? Been moved in second, right? Further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, so that takes care of our business. Number 4, other business. Is there anything else that someone wants to bring before the board at this time? Okay, now we are at public comment, and is there anybody in the room? This is what we do at the county center. Anybody in the room that wants to give public comment?
I do.
Oh,
Do I
yes.
need to sign in, cause most places make you sign in.
That's only for public hearings.
Well, okay, thank you. Now go ahead, where can I speak so that's on the recording?
So you can also, people on Zoom can see you. I don't know.
Can-
There's a speaker over there.
Who's got the timer? You running the timer?
This should be quick, dude. I just.
Oh, there you go. They can see you on Zoom.
Yeah.
You're standing there.
Right here.
The camera
Ah,
kind of follows you.
Thank you. All right, my name is Jonathan Tallman, lifetime resident, here in Morrow County. In the spirit of content to provide clean water, I'm here to advocate for the West Glen trucker, specifically, and for common sense solutions that support working people in this county. I want to speak in favor of transparency, fairness, and public accountability in all water-related planning decisions. I brought ideas to Jared in the business discussion, this last month, and since the record doesn't represent the business items, I will be emailing a written follow-up of ideas that I conveyed to him and getting answers to solutions that I conveyed. The agenda reflects an IGA with the City of Boardman for West Glen project engineering. In my view, that makes it especially important for the board to explain how water planning is being coordinated with other public actions now underway in the area, especially when the water lines that are going across the Coonsey Road. This is funded and for the Airport Way project delivering water to Amazon data centers out at that site. I want to respectfully raise a public concern. No business owner, no trucking owner or property owner should be feel pressured that the access to water, timing or service or water related approvals should be tied to unrelated conditional use issues, temporary permits or broader political negotiations that have been documented at that March city meeting of Boardman to help pressure the county to adopt the city of TSP by the county. I can add the transcript to that meeting for the record. In an email. I'm asking for the board to make clear on that record, the water decisions will be handled under objective standards and not used as leverage. I also asked the board to consider adopting clear rules requiring disclosures of any non-disclosure agreements signed by anybody on the board, confidentiality agreements or any private commitments that could create a real perceived conflict with the Morrow County Clean Water Consortium board members' public duties. This is especially important where major public projects and significant public funding are involved, especially since the meeting specifically today is talking about a $20.5 million settlement dollars to be paid by Amazon. Transparency protects the public and it protects the integrity of the bond. Finally, I ask the board to remain mindful of the broader public record regarding coordinated government actions in this area, including transportation and land use discussions, so that the public can have confidence that the water planning is being conducted independently, lawful, and in the best public interest. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Anybody else in the room have a comment? Is there anybody on Zoom that has a comment? Raise your hand, please.
Kristen has her hand raised, 1 second.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, your hand's up. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for unmuting. My name is Kristen Anderson Ostrom. I'm the Executive Director of Oregon Rural Action. And I wanted to raise a question about trust. Trust based on the agenda for today, based on the reports and the discussion, and then raise a couple of questions. And if the chair allows, receive response. And in particular, I'm looking at the Managing Director's report under the paragraph of finding funding, and specifically the sentence, lastly, I partnered with our legal counsel, Eileen Akins, to advocate for the Clean Water Consortium's inclusion in the AWS settlement distribution. And then I also heard in the conversation, in the discussion, Tamara Babbitt note that as a board, we did not authorize you to seek this direction. And so I'm wondering, what specific action did the managing director take with the attorney to seek the settlement funds? At the same time, we understand as community members, as a part of the class action lawsuit that community members will be receiving, that the Port of Morrow today and other defendants are opposing the settlement and opposing the class action. So I'm concerned about trust issues. And Chair, if you would get a response from the managing director, what
Well,
specific
yeah,
actions were taken?
in the rules we just adopted, this is not a time for a discussion or give and take. That's only reserved for agenda items. This is just a time for you to address the board. So, thank you for your comments. Okay. Anyone else on Zoom that has a comment they want to make? Anybody see anybody?
This is Justin Green with the
Justin, okay.
Water for Eastern Oregon. Just want to thank the consortium for all the work and totally support the transparency and public involvement work that y'all have been doing. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else on Zoom? Okay, let's see. I'll include our public comment. And that's it for this meeting. So I'll call the meeting adjourned.
Oh, thank you.